Welcome in. I hope your weekend was good. That's the usual thing. It is Monday. Apparently, we have some news, some good news and some bad news, but we have some good news overall. Um, but yeah, I hope the weekend was good. That's the usual thing. The good news is, as the title implies, the product hunt has been launched, which is neat. I'm seeing a lot of things that makes no sense though in the dashboard itself, which is kind of impressive. And yeah, we'll see what we can respond to and so on. But first of all, and I'm so sad about it, but it happens. I know it. I mean, things happen. That happens. I had no choice. I had choice. But yeah, the hair has this beard. I know. I know. I don't like it. I kind of hate it. But that's where we are today. And the good thing, the good news about it, I mean, the only good news about it is the fact that all of this is clean, fresh, brand new hair, which is really good for a bleach, which means the white hair, the colors can come back really easily. But yeah, it's a really bad cut. I don't like how it looks. I've tried many things to make it look better. But I can't figure it out. As far as right today, even though it's been like 3 days, that's it. It's still, I can't figure it out. I can't figure out how to style it properly, how to make it work better, and so on. So it's really bad. But yeah, that's the usual thing. That is the usual thing. Um, but yeah, I haven't, I haven't. It's far away. Hi, Crosby. Recording. I know the thing, Theo is mostly like here because Theo is just he's like me, he has like that emo boy thing that never went out. So Theo is here because he just can't help himself. I don't like that anymore. I used to, but that's not my thing. The initial cut for this, that's the sad part, is it was supposed to be a middle part situation, but um the issue with the middle part, which is fine, it kind of works, is if you look at it from right here, I look like a dick. Like it's the tip. It's exactly the tip. There is no questions, and I don't like that. So for that same reason, I yeah, it's a mushroom slash coconut slash dick head. So no, I'm gonna avoid that at that. I'm gonna avoid that a tad. I do think that the wave that I used to have when they were longer were better, and now for some reason I was expecting them to wave back up way more, but they didn't. So I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna happen. Um, I have a I have a bigger curl when the hair is longer, and that makes no sense to me. So yeah, it's wild because it's the opposite. Usually, when you have longer hair, you have like as you just said, the weight is straightening them down. But right now, that's not the case. It's just it doesn't want to curl as much. So yeah, it's weird. It's weird. It's supposed to be the opposite. So I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna straight them out again. Um, and we'll see. It's going to be similar. If I go into some of my first, and you'll probably have seen that before, but some of my first hair inspiration saves, if I still have them, I doubt it because it's been like a while. Do I have this guy? No, I don't think I do. I'm currently here but shorter, which is kind of sad. Um, if I'm debating just going back to the hairdresser and getting something like this because that's way cleaner, but also I kind of like the length. So if I'm bringing back the length, I could. This is like the option that I have to figure it out because he has something that is similar to me in terms of face shape, in terms of widow's peak and bald spot type of situation, like that is an option. But yeah, basically we went with the blue one as an inspiration. We went with this as an inspiration, which is good, but we don't have enough, like, we didn't have enough picture to make it make sense. And I feel like the reason why these cuts work better than what I have now is most of the time the people that have these cuts are kind of V shape when it comes to the face. And right now I am just a circle. There is nothing else. I'm just a fat ass circle. So it's not working as expected. Uh, but yeah, we use these ones and this one as a reference. So the back is longer than before. I mean, not longer than before, but longer than the first time that I had this cut, which is good. I feel like if I style it properly, I could potentially end up with something similar to this. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I don't like it. I've been trying to style for the past 2 days. It's just doesn't style. So we'll see. We will see. But I sent a message to Kat. I feel like the Darth Vader helmet, which is really bad. So yeah. Anyways, that is where we are, which is kind of weird. Also, it's kind of weird to have my natural color and nothing else. I feel like the previous haircut had a lot of bleach, even though it didn't. But it feels like it was way lighter than this, and that this portion of my hair was way lighter as well. But no, I mean that wasn't true. It's just like the reference with the fluff here that was really bleached and blonde from before. Just yeah, it's kind of weird. And as well, this one, which I think is an AI generated image, but I don't know. One of the thing that I've told like my hairdresser as well is the fact that these look good because the hairline is straight, and that's not my case. So, uh, you know, I need to find a Jude Law situation because we have the same widow's peak situation, which is kind of bad, but yeah, that's where we are. That is where we are. The hair has disappeared and I don't like it, but it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. I'm gonna figure it out. Um, it's gonna be okay. It is going to be okay. We have some messages to reply to. Um, so, you know, obviously, um, that uh, there will be no social features in the app. That is the main point. Um, though adding a share perfume sheet or I don't know, an image or a page or yeah. For quick sharing, I guess. Um, That's good. So far we've been kind of bad in terms of rating. We are, I think, in number 15, 16-ish for the day, which is not the greatest. But that's something. The link is directly in the general channel on the Discord if you want to check that out. I should have like an option in my stream deck, but I didn't. So yeah. Um I love how a lot of people that are asking questions and are like replying to comments and messages on other platforms are basically asking the questions that are explained in the descriptions. So, yeah. um, uh, in your collection, rotation. I guess rotation makes sense for perfumery. Um, I think we could add it at some point. Am I answering the question properly? And it also helps users to keep track of their perfume collections and monitor their usage habit. Yes, kind of. So, not forgetting you have a perfume in your collection and never wearing it again. Yeah, kind of. Let's do that. How does perfume maintain accuracy while keeping things user-friendly? That's wild. Um, uh, I don't think, if you are into perfume, please tell me. I don't think longevity is something that is true. I have seen that in many, many platforms and many websites that like basically list the longevity. But from person to person, the longevity might be perceived differently. Like a perfume that is nose blinding me in 2 hours might not nose blind you in six. So the longevity is depending on the user and also the environment. It's usually referred to the potential of longevity for that perfume specifically based on a pool of users, but it's not necessarily something that makes sense. So that's wild of a thing to track, but I get it. I mean, it is trackable inside of the app. Um, Also, the question makes no sense. How does perfume maintain accuracy while keeping things user friendly? Um, I guess each perfume have their composition, I guess. Composition slash notes list and uh, I guess that's it. I don't want to disclose some of the thing that I have put in place on my own. Not that it matters. Um, I guess. I guess. I don't know. I don't think this is a good idea, but yeah, I guess that's the best option for the answer on this one. But yeah, as I said, we're on number 17, which is not the greatest. 16, thank you, appreciate it. um, we'll see where that goes. Again, the product hunt launch, specifically to not today, but lately, most of the tools and the thing that I've been seeing have been extremely tech related, and most of them are just AI tools with nothing else. So, like, I can't compete with V0 for iOS. There is no questions about that. Like, that, you know, V0 for iOS is going to be at the top of the charts for sure. But also because of the fact that I'm the only one that would be in the lifestyle category on Product Hunt, I do have the advantage of potentially being number one in lifestyle just because, that happens. But yeah, as always, if you have the time, the options, the whatever, please just come on in, upvote that. It's just a button, a small button, so that we have something and we climb a bit and have a bit more visibility. Most of the people that have seen things right now have been related to um, Threads and Twitter. Twitter has been pretty good for once. I'm impressed. The thing that pisses me off though is the fact that my LinkedIn is now receiving connection invites since this morning by people that are like product hunt gurus, people that just, try to boost your product hunt launch with fake engagement, which is absolutely not something that we want. So, yeah, that happens. But we'll see. I gained 10 followers apparently for that post alone, so that's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. We do like it. We do like it. Anyways, how was the weekend, Cross Keys? How is everything? That is the usual question. Cat, same question as well, because I haven't asked. I don't. I don't like this thing. I need to figure it out. I see. I see. That's kind of bad. That is kind of bad. I hope that wasn't the case. I feel like this is too hot. One second. It it was nice, but then when I start streaming every time, like the whole room gets hotter. So it did fit, but yeah. Uh God damn. Also, I hurt my back. I don't I don't know why, no, I do know why and how. I hurt my back in the gym, but also before the gym. And yeah, I know how I did it in the gym, and that's just dumbasses at the gym that just don't re-rack their weights. And there was the 40 kilos dumbbells in front of me in the rack that is supposed to be the 20 kilos, so twice as much. And I decided to just pick them up and see if I could just re-rack them, and I kind of hurt my back. So that happened. But yeah, it's so sad. It hurts like not much, but it's just such a small annoyance all the time. Ah, mm, I see. That makes no sense. That's the dumbest thing that could have been happening. Um, because it basically means that everyone that just enable disable payment would be referred as they are paying, but that's it. If they stop paying, you don't get the money. And yeah, that's weird. Weird and wild and not a good thing. So I feel you. I understand. I hope you can find a fix. I would say, and again, I know that that client specifically that you are talking about has had some debatable choice in the past, so more complicated to achieve what I'm about to say. But if you have the time, and I doubt you do, but if you have the time and you take the time to find a solution to provide them a system of subscription handling that is like not manually uh, coded, but like something that already exists. I don't know, like a Stripe or whatever else exists, right? And you put that in place as a secondary option, and then you provide it as a here is what we have. This is going to cost you $100 a year or something. But that will handle the entirety of your subscription, which means that basically, if you have like two clients, you're done, it's covered. And that could be a thing to just like, move them from the system that is currently not working, that is currently not great, to something that is a bit better. If you can, I think that would be appreciated from everyone's point of view, because goddamn. But if you can't do that, don't do that. Or if you don't want to do that, don't do that either. Like that's the same thing. Both work. Both work. No action is also an option. It's just like providing a good solution is sometimes a way to have them refer you to some of their friends, even though you might not be in the need for like more clients of that caliber. Um, but we never know. We never know. Sometimes friends are more efficient and well versed in the domain of codes and building things that you'll never know unless you have something. So, having a referral would be a pretty good thing. And I think you should try. I think you should try. It would make a lot of sense. At least from my point of view, I would do that. I would probably just get in and say, well, this currently in place thing doesn't work and will basically make you lose money, more money than expected. So I recommend you to implement this instead, which I've done. And you can use it if you want, but it's not necessarily like it's not a forced thing. You can use what you already have, or you can use this thing instead. Just here are the pros and cons. Figure it out. If it doesn't cost you anything, like that's the usual thing. Like if it doesn't cost you more time or more code, that's uh, that's good, I guess. But yeah, that's my recommendation at least. In the realm of the product hunt was launched, and someone on Twitter, I think, said that they were using something else. They basically sent this this is an option. This is the thing that I'm currently using. And I didn't know about that. Mizzy, hi, we're calling. How are you? How have you been? How's the day going? How's how was the weekend? Um, so this is new. Yeah, I don't like it. I hate it, to be honest. I appreciate that you like it, but I hate it. I feel like it's really bad. It doesn't match what I like usually. And it's at the weird length of it's too long and too short at the same time. It's right at the middle of the thing that I can't do anything. So if I go back to this, because this is going to be the best representation. If I go back to the beginning of when I started talking about the perfume app and so on, like that length is where it starts to be okay in terms of like jawline situation, and I cut at basically that, but it goes back up, which is kind of bad. Like here, it's fine, and I'm currently here, and I hate this. So I have like 6 months, 4 months, um, to get back. Like I'm currently back at this, kinda. So it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Eh, eh. It's gonna grow back. It'll take its time though. But yeah. Can you look on the any hand? What do you mean? Uh, what do you mean? Any hand? Any hand? What is any hand? I feel like the long hair is much more like I lost aura points right there. Um, like I went from here with aura and everything and like the beard and like good stuff to that. Both sides are basically the same. It's just like instead of having the middle part, I mean, instead of having a middle part, I do a side part when I have that length thing. But yeah, like that. God damn, I hate this. I hate it. But yeah, no, it's fine. It's okay. It's an okay thing. I had that before, so I'm used to it. I just you know, eh, I just need to wait now. So it's good. The good thing though is that the neck is cleaner, and so I don't have, you know, um, I don't have so much issues with the chain. The chain had issues in the past with basically snapping the how's it called? The hair itself to it. Also that's broken. So I was like, hi, welcome in. How are you? How's the day going? How's everything? So yeah, that's the thing. Anyways, going back to this because we were talking about. I mean, I was about to try to talk about this. That popped in, which is interesting. It's an app that does basically the same thing as me. However, don't worry, it's not an interruption. It's a derail, which makes sense. um, it is an AI powered perfume collection thing, and it is there to promote consumption. And there is a lot of things in there that just don't make any fucking sense to me. But that's also because of how I see things, right? Also, I said hi to Cybersect, but hi again, Cybersect. Welcome on. So most of the thing that I'm seeing here, and most of the thing that I've done and checked and so on, and I've obviously downloaded the app so that we can, check it out and do other things with it to make sure that I fully understand and I have this thing. It's first of all, it's requiring me to have an account to do anything. Like I can't have a local account on my device. I need to create an account. I can skip, but then I can't do anything really inside of the app. From here, I have my whole collection. I feel like the design overall is pretty neat. It makes sense. They have a pretty good collection presentation. They have good images, but they also have things that just to me don't make much sense, where all of these are socially rated things. So in what they have presented, they have the notes, and their presentation of the notes are really cool, right? They have illustrations for each and every one of the notes that they have, but then it doesn't make a lot of sense because the percentage don't. necessarily make any sense for anyone. Like you don't really understand what a percentage of a note make like inside of a perfume per se. Like you either have the note inside of your perfume or you don't. The amount is a bit of a different situation anyways, it doesn't really matter. And then underneath that, I was saying they have like a lot of things that are, at least from my point of view, here to make sure that you go and buy more perfume to retain you on the app. They have other things that I do like a lot, where they basically say sillage and longevity fine. The season, that's interesting. That's a good thing. I have that as well, but not with that representation. The weather is a weird thing for how they have presented it. Like it needs to be snowy or rainy or windy to be good, but in sunny days, it makes no sense, which I don't get it. And then the occasion makes sense. That's something that I have as well, but I don't necessarily have leisure or sports. That's a thing. The last point that I don't have and I don't want to have, and a lot of people have been asking for, is this section where all of that are user bound reviews. And this completely overrated, way too sweet, so sugary, you can't even make out the note. I really hate this with 1 star. Could, and it happened, could sway someone from using it. Um, and I don't like that. Yes, it is hard for me too. You're right, walk on it. I hate it. It's gonna grow back. It's the same thing as last year. Nope. Yes. Last year in May, when I came back from Japan, I basically had the same haircut. So, yeah. I don't know. I thought it would come out better and it didn't. It did it. So, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, that's an interesting thing for the experience, and then they have like the my experience thing, which is basically what I have. Knox, we're calling. I don't agree, but appreciate it. And then they have this thing, which is like a description related to the perfumer, the creation, some of the notes that are weirdly defined. Like that makes no sense. Um, but yeah, yeah, I know. I mean, we have the same thing when it comes to haircut for the previous issues that I have. It's gonna be fine. So they have like a lot of things. They have a lot of brands and a lot of like companies that they have inside of this app. The thing that I don't like here, if you look closely, there is like a loading state. So all of this data is on servers, I'm guessing. And then they have the set of the day for yourself and so on, like the usual. Um, so it's interesting. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's bad. I think it's really bad from my point of view that they have like a need for a fucking account every time. Like every time you relaunch the app, you need to have like an account in something, and then if you want to add like a perfume to your collection here, you can uh, do that. I forgot a fucking T, but then it just doesn't make much sense. Like there is something missing. Obviously, I am biased on this one because I just built my own app that does similarly the same thing without the AI and the recommendations and so on, and I haven't created an account to make sure that I am not missing anything. So it's it's interesting, but yeah, I I saw that earlier today because I didn't before. I didn't know that that was existing, and I'm glad that I didn't see that before because otherwise I would probably have done something about it and try to use that instead of creating my own stuff. But yeah, um, They have a very interesting thing. I do like this section. I don't like this section. I like the illustrations, but that's about it. Um, but it's interesting. Their website is cool enough. But yeah, um, that's a hi. What one? I don't know. The one that works for you for winter. I don't. I don't know. I'm not someone that is like tied to a perfume related to like a season. I feel like season makes no sense. As in a 16 degrees sunny day in fall or winter or summer is a 16 degrees sunny day. Like there is not much difference. Um, so season wise, if you want to smell like winter, that's a different thing. You will go with something that has, I'm gonna use Fragrantica for this one because it just makes sense. But you could go for a note that is related to snow or ice. I know that like an ozonic note might be an interesting thing. It's like mostly sky, like clear sky or raining day um, scent, which is interesting. So yeah, I haven't tested uh, Loewe Loewe perfume yet. I don't have them where I'm going. So yeah. But yeah, I would go for something that is kind of like this, and or I think snow is one of the other options that we have in the scent. Um, and this one is probably the one I would go for right now, just because of the brand and all that. But yeah, what do you mean show off your French skills? No, I don't have any skills in French. Um, I mean, Loewe is not. Loewe is Swedish? Spain. God damn. That's not Swedish at all. Uh, how? And yeah, no, Loewe. Ah, I see. Eh. Same S, indeed. Same S starting point. Yeah. Mm, eh. Therefore, I feel like the French pronunciation is probably going to be the same. Probably going to be the same, which I don't know. But yeah, nonetheless, that's I would say if you want something that is kind of cool and feels like winter, I would go for something that has a scent of snow, a scent of freshness, something that is crispy, so it will have musk, snowy things. Lily would be a good thing. I guess from my collection, which is like limited but also existent, um, the best from my collection would be probably this one. Vodka on the Rocks is a very good, clean, simple scent. It could work for feeling like winter, um, because it's clean, but it could also work for like a very sunny day because it's kind of fresh. So that's one of them. The other one, which is kind of becoming my favorites, are Blanche. That's very French. Blanche by Rideau. Or yeah, by Rideau. Even though based on some of the thing that I've heard, I don't know. I haven't made any research on that. It seems that company specifically has a lot of issues for what they are supporting politically, morally speaking, and so on. So I don't know. I do like it though. And the last one is going to be obviously 100% biased on this one because it is a Japanese brand. But this one, which also has a fucking French name because their French name, Comme des Garçons, is a very, you know, French French name by default, and then their name for that specific one is Odeur 10 or Odeur 10, which is a very, very, very clean thing, and I like this a lot. It's the notes that it has don't even register in my charts. Like it's just amber. That's it. So it's a very interesting one. Um, I don't know by the fireplace. I don't know if I have that. I do. I see. It's a Maison Margiela uh, situation. I don't know enough about it, to be honest. Um, I don't have anything from Replica brand thing. So, yeah, it seems interesting. I'm guessing the musk is something that is going to be the reason. And also, like, again, like winter and autumn make no sense to me in the same sense as earlier, like 15 degrees in winter or autumn is going to be the same thing. So, eh, interesting. But it seems pretty good based on the notes that I'm seeing here. It's going to be a nutty-ish vanilla. So that's neat. And yeah, I've been working on the images. Like they have a ton of images as well, but I've been working on the images on my own for my side, and it's taking so long. Oh my God. Finding the right image and extracting the right like placements and how we want them to be and so on, and making sure that the thing that we have is the proper flower, the proper branch, the proper whatever when it needs to be. The thing that I have a lot of issues with is anything that is like crystalline and so on. We don't have like much as an option, so it's hard. Anything that is in the beans and woody, like ambery section for now, most of them are just resins. So every time I have like a picture or I find a picture of something, it's just like it's the same fucking thing every time. It's the fucking same resin. I like this one because it was pretty nice of a drop of amber, even though amber doesn't look like this by default. Um, but yeah, no, not really. It would help you. It helps you manage your collection. Like that's my collection, and today I'm not wearing anything, but I might be interested in like um, maybe aesthetic vanilla is something that feels good for me for today, based on the weather, based on my preferences, based on the fact that this one is like one of my favorite scents, and so on. Based on the feedback that I've gave when I wore that in the past and such. But it's not there to make you discover things. It's there to make you understand why you like stuff, and that's it. The one that I was talking about earlier, this one, which is new to me, is something that is going to be there to help you find new personalized fragrances that you like, could like, might like, based on other things. So that's the thing. I'm gonna have like my shelf, as they call it, and then with that, it's going to recommend me things, um, and maybe they recommend me this thing. And they're like, cool, that's exactly what you needed to have, and so on. Like based on your experience, your collection, your thing, that's gonna be good for you. But yeah, I don't like the fact that I need um, an account for this to work. Like that makes no sense to me. So debatable. But yeah, for myself, this is just my collection, my impressions, my feedback on the perfumes themselves, from myself to myself. And that's also one of the reasons why uh, most, if not all, of the thing that I'm writing in there are going to be like as personal as they can be. Like I wouldn't necessarily say that if I knew that this was a social app. Like I wouldn't say that it feels like um, an old English pimp. It's nice, but that might not be something I say in the wild. But that's how I felt. So, you know. But yeah, no discovery. The only discovery that we have is discovery between the the perfumes that you already have. So in the layering section, you might be able to see, well, you are wearing this one, and this second one could work with it, or this third one, or whatever, could be good for you. Or if you don't really have anything and you just want to check things, so let's go for By the Fireplace, because that's what you just got. And let me take this one, which is the same thing. It's going to give me some recommendation of, based on your collection. It seems to be kind of redundant. Like it has a lot of overlaps from things that you already have, and it doesn't fill any gaps compared to any other fragrances. So unless you really liked it when you tried it or smelled it in store, doesn't really matter. Or doesn't really change anything. So that's uh, that's one way to have things. However, as always, I don't have all the perfumes in the world in there, so there is a lot of possibility of you saying, um, "I'm looking for something, it doesn't exist." You know, so that's uh, that's the thing. This one is also something that I like a lot, but it gives me like recommendation in the same way. So, you know, like I used to have this, but I finished the bottle. So if I liked it, I can repurchase it. If I didn't, you know, explore similar things. But yeah, that's one of the things. The good stuff that I have, or at least from my point of view, is um if I say this, that's gonna save a lot of people as well. Like I've seen that before of people not complaining, but like complaining about the fact that um they have bought the same perfume many times
I feel so free.
without really realizing it. So that's the thing. That's wild. Oh, so yeah, that's the only thing that we have. Um, that might be like an interesting thing. I don't remember who. Ah, god damn it. God damn it. 1 minute of very French sounding person. Congratulations. Congratulations. That is really bad. That is a really bad thing. Yes, I forgot the name of the perfume that had similarities with other things that I already have in my collection. But yeah, I guess number 5, if it is named like this. Nope. I don't know. I don't know. Hmm. Does it make any sense? Some of the thing that I had, and I'm trying to look for right now, is the achievement of finding a perfume that already exists in my collection, but isn't one that I own already. So that's the thing. Yeah, now it's just a minute, so that's I'm on the second. Uh, but yeah, I hate it. Thank you for redeeming it. Appreciate it.
I feel so.
I did. And Stony, you just missed the French. You just missed the French. Uh yeah, dang. This is one that is interesting. It's also kind of weird. Um where it's telling me that I have things in my collection that are similar, and that's not the case. As in, Don't Give a Fuck is one of the perfume that I do have in my collection as thing that I have finished. So it is right about here in the finished section. So that's not very much, um, not very much a thing that is interesting. So I need to fix that. But yeah, that's the thing. That's where we are for the discovery section of the app. So far, there will be other things. There are things in there that I want to improve, obviously, specifically in the discovery section, that, you know, um, makes sense. So, yeah, that that's probably the case. Yes. Um, it's a it's a discovery without being a discovery section, which I don't like the name, right? Because it's a layering section plus an assistant, like purchase assistant thing. And so I don't really like how it's called discovery because in your head, you will probably by default think of it as discovery of new perfumes and not necessarily like discovery of your personal take on how you can layer multiple perfumes together and so on. Which, by the way, if I just, for the sake of right now, you know, um, you will have like 3 if you're on the paid tier. If you're not, you know, no bleaching yet. No. Basically, I went to the shop at 4 in the afternoon, and uh, and I just said, you know what? Do you have like someone that said, "Oh, I don't have the time. I can't come back." Um, and she said, "Yes, we have a spot at 6." So I went at 6. If I go for a bleach, I need to be there at 10 in the morning so that it takes basically the whole day, like the 4 to 6 hours that it takes to bleach the hair to get them white. But that's gonna be soon. Now that I have this, I can go back and do that. I'm waiting for Figma to pay the invoice, and then I can go. But yeah, I'm also thinking about not necessarily like burning all the cash that I'm gonna have from that job. So yeah, why does it hurt today? Interesting. I've never taken my laptop there, and I wouldn't, simply because of the amount of hair and small, fine hair dust things that are just flying around in the salon all the time. That would just end up in the laptop itself. So I just stay on my phone. I work on my phone, but I just, yeah, I avoid having things that have gaps in them. So most of the time, I mean, it's one of the reasons why I got these things as well, is because these are easier to just pop in and out without really bothering the air salon for sure. But also, like if I have the big headphones, I end up with a pli, like a bit of a fold on my hair, and also around the ears, which is not really good. So you know, yeah, simplifying things. The lightest glasses, different t-shirts. It's a whole process. It's a whole process. Um, so yeah, no, that's the thing that we have so far. I think it's pretty good. The the thing that I want to have here in the profile section, and I wanted to have this before I like released the app, and then I forgot and I released the app. So it's gonna be in the next update, probably, maybe, I don't know. Which is right now, I just have the recent activity, which makes absolutely no sense for anyone. It's just like what happened in your collection. So if that's not what I wanted to do. If you've been like wearing perfumes, testing perfumes, doing other things in your collection, you will have the last three activities, and that's it. And that's just, I mean, why not? It was useful for me when I was testing stuff because I needed like multiple point of interest to go through like a perfume, but it's not that useful, and it doesn't give you any information. So what I'm attempting and what I will be attempting to add here is a bit more analytics for your collection. Stuff like um, this already is analytic base of telling you that you have like 74 perfumes and you're usually going for woody and amber perfumes. Like that's your go-to. And then your scent profile, which is related to you and your bottles and your perfumes and so on. Terracon, hi, welcome in. How are you? How have you been? Is useful. That makes sense. Some of the things that the people on TikTok have been requesting, potentially asking for, is who are the perfumers that you like the most? And so that's basically going through whatever perfume you have that is currently like in your favorites or in your highest rated and so on, and just add that to the list. But yeah, not, yeah, it happened on Saturday. I'm sorry. I'm sad about it. I'm sad about it. It will come back. It will grow back unless I'm losing my hair here and I can't see it, which is an option. In which case I will just go bald. But yeah, no, I'm planning on growing it back as much as I can. So yeah, so that's the thing that I kind of plan on adding in the profile section, um, because otherwise it makes no sense to have. But yeah, at least that is launched, which is good. It is good, obviously. Bitch, where the fuck you at? Sorry. As always, if you haven't upvoted that, please do. Please do. Be appreciated. Oh, goddamn. But yeah, that's an interesting thing, nonetheless. This app is, again, going back to the initial discussion. This one is interesting. It's kind of similar to what I had in mind in the first place, but then they added like a lot of AI and a lot of other recommendations. They probably also have a lot of like partnership and affiliate links inside of the app to make sure that if you are buying through the links that are in the app, they are getting a cut or something. I don't know. Probable. I have no clue because I don't have an account there. So that's an option. Um, Good UI in some departments, not good UI in others. Like that section is okay. It's a very interesting thing. This one is cute, but that's it. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And these ones are pretty good. So far I just have like one brand app, not app, kind of platform that has a good thing about perfume where the UI is good for the representation of the perfumes, and that's Scentbird, um, which it's just the way that they are presenting the bottles is just so good. Um, if you are just going through the perfumes they have and you just want to check things out, you know, I feel like this is gonna be one of these situations. Um, like these makes a lot of sense. The presentation of, which is the thing that I want to do, uh, of the notes underneath is always a very good placement, very good thing. And they take like good pictures overall. So we do like them. But goddamn. Goddamn. Like these ones, goddamn. Anyways. We'll see what we can do with this. But yeah, so that's a new thing, new kind of thing that we need to figure out at some point. Um, but yeah, so far we've had uh, things like this happening, which is good. Other designers talking about things. We appreciate it. Some potential outputs, potential things going on. Let's go back to where we stopped on Friday. Based on how weird things happening in my torso right now, I don't know how long this stream is going to be. I'm going to tell you that right now because that feels weird. But eh, it's okay, I guess. As always, if I die on stream, that's good. It's good for views. Uh, we stopped. We stopped roughly around where? There's been so much shit coming up. It's crazy. It's wild because it feels like it's something that like we've seen, but no, yes, we've seen that. We stopped somewhere around the line of here. I think that's the last thing we saw. Which means that this is the last one that has been added that is interesting. This one is mostly related to the current state of things regarding builders and devs or not devs or whatever, but like these things are what people are currently becoming. So, as that person saying 3 years ago didn't know how to build any of this stuff, and now it can't stop, which is really cool. Building like different apps, but also building like micro interactions and experiments is pretty cool. Again, as said, same statement. Basically, last year I didn't know how to do any of the thing that I now do in Xcode. So that's impressive. Just a pat on the back for me and for Jose as well. Um, we've seen this. This was mostly for you, Chris, for things that are related to infinite canvas and positioning of the tools and the thing that you want to have inside of your navigation. I feel like this one is a pretty interesting one, specifically because of the grid pattern that is at the background doesn't look like the regular grid patterns. Like it's pretty much different. Um, but it looks interesting. It's very much everything is aligned and so on. The only thing that pisses me off is the misalignment here. Because of the big ass circle in the center that needed to push these two plus and minus buttons to be like not aligned with the top content. So it emphasized the tool itself, which is interesting, but it also like the debatable placement. Other than that, it's good. Other than that, it's pretty cool. But that was mainly just for this. Mainly just for this. If you haven't seen my post on Discord, this is a very interesting big news. As 3 days ago, on Friday, the Swift language announced that they now have released a Swift for Android, which means that the Swift language is now potentially usable in order to build an Android app natively-ish. They are using it inside of Android Studio, which is pretty impressive. And this is an NDK and not an SDK, which is kind of weird because it's not something that I know about. So if you know what an NDK is compared to an SDK, I would love to know. But um, that that's a pretty good leap in the transition in potentially having a lot of apps being built with Swift in both languages or in both platform at once. The Swiftling Android group specifically has been an NDK is an SDK. I see. Well, thank you. Have been trying to build Split? No. A specific tool that I forgot the name of that is a compiler that recompile for Kotlin, and right now they are basically saying that it now doesn't need that anymore. You can just compile for Swift directly, which is pretty cool. It will give you some options that are better than what we have in iOS, but yeah, I see. I see. Appreciate it. But yeah, nonetheless, this is a very cool news, I think, for anyone that is building apps and that just wants to build natively. Some of the people that have been replying to this thing, and I think I liked some of them replies that will be in that feed, are saying things along the line of, we are going to see, not right now because it's still in beta and it's the first version and so on, but we are going to see an increase in quality of Android app, probably by the simple fact that the iOS devs that were limiting themselves to only be available on iOS because they didn't want to, build something else on Android and have to redo the entire code, can now simply just port the thing and say, well, now it's using Swift, so let's just use Swift and now have the thing working on Android. So the port is probably going to be easier. In terms of company implementation and so on, there are a lot of things that will be impactful, as in you now just need to hire one single dev instead of having like one dev for iOS and one dev for Android for the native thing. You will potentially have the ability to just get one dev that does both. So it was already the case if you just had like something that was not native, as in React Native and or um, Flutter, Kotlin. But now it's native apparently, which is interesting. I don't know. Anyways, moving on. This one was just cute. That's it. It's a very cool holographic feel. I want this to shine and move in the background, but we can't have everything. Um, this reminded me of Krosky's website kind of thing. Not exactly, but kind of. Like the presentation is really cool. So, you know, references, visual references. Um, you could integrate some of these transitions or animations for how the elements are loading into the web page here and there. I feel like it's pretty cool. So, yeah. Anyways, um, we've seen that. This one was really cool as well. There is another version of this tweet specifically that is above that explain how the analytics section is getting like stuck in the header. This is something that is using or yeah, making use of their portal thing, which is pretty nice. So it's neat. I don't understand it, but it's neat. I need to understand it at some point. If you haven't seen, there has been the website from Lendo that has kind of broke the internet for the people that are not designers. And people were like, this is crazy. This looks like something that is really complicated to do. I don't know who did that. And technically, it took like 3 clicks to do. But because they don't know, it happens. Um, but yeah, this one is interesting. The fact that they've done that as well for specifically like Verstappen. Eh, yeah, which I don't understand what happened. My feed is now from the um, Mexico Grand Prix, and apparently he finished third. I feel like Jeroen is aware of that, or Cat is aware of that. But yeah, I'm not aware of things much. I just see things in my feed, and I'm just like, of that. Was there a race like yesterday, and he finished third? Is that what happened, or was this something from like a week ago? Yes, yes. Okay, cool. So I'm up to date apparently. Um, I know the score. I I laughed a lot. I think it's on. It's either here or I saw that on TikTok. I don't know, but from the racetrack, it's probably in the feed. From the racetracks on Google Maps, people have added pins, as in Verstappen lawnmower business, and then someone else I forgot the name on the other corner, and I found that really funny. But I'm not in the know, so yeah, um, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird to me. There has been some things. Someone made like a carousel of how we could still win the championship, like end of the year type of situation. But I don't know enough. Yeah, I mean, to me, based on the thing that I've seen, I'm gonna just do that for the sake of checking because I feel like it's gonna be around here. maybe I'm not gonna find it. Probably not. But in between the titties and the things, can I find this thing? Can I just search? No. Should I search? Probably. Why do I have a Uno thing right there? Oh yeah, it's this thing. Yeah, that bitch ass thing. I feel like that makes sense. I, f- I feel like that makes sense. The thing that I saw, to be honest, from this one of him just going straight up to go back there is crazy. That makes no sense to me, as I don't know what happens and what are the rules in any way, shape, or form. But nonetheless, it just, um, yeah. I mean, the specifics that I saw was like the trajectories and how much they cut uh, on the corners, and it's just it makes no sense to me in terms of how is that allowed? Like, is that is it does that makes no sense? So you have penalties and other things, but again, I don't know shit. I don't know shit. Apparently, didn't like that post. God damn it. Mm. But yeah, there was like a post where you had lines drawn exactly on where they were. So, anyways, I get it. Yeah, I see. That's kind of wild, though. I feel like it shouldn't be the case, but yeah, I mean, I guess it's the same thing as football and other sports. Soccer thing makes no sense to me. Has never made any sense to me. That pink was cool. That's it. That's the only reason why I kept it. And then this popped in, and it's kind of the same vibe. So I'm feeling like these types of hand drawn, more organic again are coming back. So we are keeping that in mind. Um, right? Like shit like this. That I need to learn how to do that without AI because this is an AI generated account. Everything that they are posting is usually AI generated, but this fucking thing looks amazing. So I need to know how to make particles, much more particles. This one was cute for many reasons. It's a bit of a pastel thing, but it also has a lot of vibrant color added. So it's a mix of both. The illustration themselves are using some sort of a transparent glass plus um, brain. That's a fair point. Uh, uh, with some highlights here and there, specular and so on, that is the native for the newest version of iOS, but like that combination is pretty interesting. So we do like it for the the pastels. For the pastels. This one was really cute. Again, my feed is mostly Japanese lately on Twitter, which is really appreciated. This is a very cool ASCII art, I guess. Um, Not really typewriter art, maybe. Really cool. Really cool. This was a back in time situation for me because I used to have that um, interface style things on my, um, I don't mind about the outside. My blinds are closed all day long, so I don't see outside. I just hear the rain. for today, for example. And I'm like, what the fuck happened? So this one was interesting. It's also a really good callback to what has changed. But then, so this is like Delicious Library's first version, apparently, and now in my mind, which is a different system, this is the newer version, which I think is cleaner, obviously, but it's also like more aligned with current design trends. So it looks really cool, both of them. One of them is obviously meant to be a callback, and this one is meant to be seen as a clean evolution. So I get it. Some of the thing that I want to point out on this is the differences in between the newest and the oldest navigation systems and the points that we have made to change in or from the past. So there's a ton of things that today's design would never really have. One of the most important one that is mostly a Windows thing, that is not a Mac OS thing anymore, is the scroll bars don't exist anymore. We don't really have scroll bar anymore on Windows 11 and Mac OS current version, or since like, I don't know, 5 years ago. We removed the scroll bars so that they take less visual weight from what we have. There is alignment in the text here that doesn't make any sense. We would never justify a block of text in an app anymore. This is not something that is common. So that's another point that, makes sense. And then there are stuff that just have a lot of emphasis in making sure that the user recognize that something is there. So what I see most importantly is the tags that are like really visible and the arrows next to the titles and the names and so on. These are interesting points that we now have kind of simplified or really simplified in order to make sure that it's less distracting than expected. So these numbers would be just the numbers with the background color, but not like a badge. And these ones would be the arrow without the background as well, just as a potential link or maybe just another line to hint that there is something that is clickable, but that's not necessarily something that is there. So that's a very interesting change in what we currently have. But yeah, just wanted to point that out specifically because of the throwback situation. So yeah, if you want some outside more, I feel like it would be good for you to just take off work earlier, you know, if that's an option in your company, the usual, and or take a longer break at lunch. Same thing, if that's an option for you, because that could help just to, make sure that you can. Make sure that you can. And take a lot more outside time for yourself. That's also an option, yeah. That might be a bit more complicated. It might. Why does that hurt so much? That's so crazy. Holy shit. Um, this one was weirdly interesting. I don't really know if this makes any sense. You know what? I know it doesn't really make any sense. Um, in terms of how you are presenting the gamut of color available to any people in different color profiles, I I don't think that is necessary. Um, like there is something missing in there in terms of explanation and so on. It's just like visual 3D representation of each of these things to make sure that, whoever is looking at these kind of has a, oh yeah, that's cool type of situation. But that's it. So Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, it looked cool. That's it. Same thing as last time. More pile up on the whole to make it like look better, just like that. Um, this one is a comeback to some of the other thing that we've talked about before. I do like it, obviously. And as said, this is some of the easiest thing to create, but you need to be specific when you're building them in order to make sure that it, works with everything. So there are some really cool details in the fact that there is like an inner shadow for the darker section that is overlapped by the lighter at the bottom, which means that this inner section right here has a bit of a darker taint shades, technically, right there on the edge. So you go from a bit of a dark to lighter to a bit darker to very much lighter, so that you have the feel that the center is a bit convex. Small details. We like it. We like it. Um, this one was really interesting, and again, if you are under the age of 25, you will not understand. But like, someone has created an app called Dreamweaver, and it's an app to create and generate stories for kids. But if you don't know what Dreamweaver is, I get it. Honest mistake, as they say. But that's a lawsuit waiting to happen. So we'll see. I don't know exactly what would happen. I don't know how Adobe would like react to this. Um, but it's impressive. It is impressive. Um, this one is also, I talked about like stickers, and then because we talked about stickers last week, this popped in my feed, and it's now that person specifically is all over my feed with a lot of stickers and other things. So hat stickers and so on. Some of them are really cool. The issue that I have with that, and I liked most of them for that reason specifically, is I have a feeling that these are coming from packs that they have had access to without necessarily have like the rights to replicate and or distribute. So I just want to like them to see if they go down at some point, uh, because these look really familiar to me, and um, like there are a lot of things in there that just are not supposed to be recreated and all part like spread out. So yeah. Anyways, moving on. Moving on. Same thing. This is a very much interesting style that is coming in. It's a bit of a brutalist slash cyber slash retro acid combined with realistic inside with like the notebook and so on. But I feel like this is something that is coming in without anyone really noticing that someone is making a bit of a mix of everything and attempting stuff. So that's a cool pattern, cool thing that I'm seeing. As always, people that are experimenting with style and design and other aspects of what they are creating to create something that is more interesting to them is really cool every time. And that results most of the time in new design patterns, new design styles, and new things that people are embracing later on. So when you are some of the first to like combine and mix up some cyber with some brutalist, it makes sense, but then you end up with the realistic and some of the acid thing that we talked about last week, you end up with something that is not necessarily expected and could be really interesting. So we'll see when, if that becomes more impressive, more used, and so on. But for now, it's interesting. That's where we are. Again, Japanese being really Japanese and doing a lot of very good stuff. Most of the reason why I keep these ones on my feed are for stream related content. So these views, these still screens could 100% be inspiration for your scenes on stream. Like this one, if you made it like a bit more layouted for stream, the chat bubbles at the bottom, the event title, your face in the center, and so on could be something like your just chatting scene, where you have chatters and your bubbles for the chat are popping up at the bottom. Maybe you want something that is a bit more BRB situation, and a scene like this with like a be right back, you have the camera here or the event or something else around here could really be interesting. So as always, these ones, even though they are mostly used for presentation and or music related transition scenes, having them as references for stream overlays is always a good thing, or at least for me, it's always working. So, you know, taking that as references as always really good. Um, we've had said new style coming in. This one is a bit more realistic plus cyber. Not much brutalist in there, other than this, but pretty cool to see that progress thing coming in. That was very French. That's it. It's a very French light. I don't know who has it. I'm guessing it's not a French person, but we never know. We never know. We had other things like this. This one was really cool for the creation. They are making a logo or an element that could be added to any visual assets. And the whole system that they have for the creation of this thing is pretty impressive. It's very simple, but they have the skills to do the things in question, and they are doing it well. Um, and yeah, just things that you may have not thought about in terms of design styles and so on. You know, keeping that in mind, as always. As always, good output, good creations, and good overall design. So, you know, having fun with stuff. Moving on. um, this is news for a very small amount of people that are into image generation and AI image generation. Apparently, Apple just released the Pico Banana 4000 or 400K data set, which is a data set of images that has been trained on stuff that Apple owned for something that is a bit more better than what Google has done, but nonetheless, this is, I think, Nano Banana extension. That means that still has been trained on most of the other things, but like sub-train on 400 or 40,000 images that are from Apple themselves. So there is something interesting in there. I don't know exactly what the everything related to that specific post is, but this is an open source image generation model and image editing model that just came out and is available on GitHub. So, like maybe check it out if you are into that. But it's cool to see that Apple is contributing more and more to the GitHub ecosystem that they have not really be contributing in for the past few years. So yeah, they're coming in. Same thing here. Stream related stuff. We had some cat related stuff. I have doubts on the accuracy of this image and the realness of this. Um, this is something that would take me 3 seconds in Photoshop to create. However, I don't know if someone would take a picture of the underneath of their cat's paw and think about doing this on their own. So, debatable. Debatable. Anyways, there has been a lot of really good visual things, but not a lot of creation so far, at least from my point of view. There is a lot of things that are looking like other things that I've seen before. So, fun design related stuff. So that's, that happens. Um, People are asking for these things to come back, and I disagree with that. This one specifically is not necessarily the most useful element, but most of the thing that I'm seeing right here is that that person has learned how to create concave and convex element yesterday, and now that's all they could think about. Like there is no difference in anything they have created. The the containers are all blobs up. Um, this one has a shine that is way inside and doesn't really impact anything. It mostly looks like a border, which is the same thing here. And most of these badges and stuff are half wrong. So, half wrong for many reasons. The distance that you have in between the edge of your element and the start of your highlight is roughly going to be the same distance that you should have in your shadow as a drop shadow. Right now, that's not the case, which means that either the elements that they are creating, and that's an option, looks like this. If it was like cut in a way that just makes sense. If that's the case, god damn it, that's gonna be like 1,000. If that's how they have created the elements, and you know, bitch, why not? Therefore, the shadow that is right here is going to be very, very small, and that makes sense, and that's fine. But if that's not the case, and you know, your element is supposed to be somewhere along the line of this, then they've made a mistake. Because that, as a cross section, that will have at least the distance from here to here for the shadow to be taken in place. So the example that I get every time is this. If your shadow is coming in and that's the light source, basically the longer it is, the further out it becomes and the further phased out it becomes. This element is basically going to be somewhere along the line of that. That's going to be your shadow ish from the fall off to fall off being like where the shadow starts to exist to where it fades out on the floor. That is going to be the thing. So with that in mind, it needs to be diffused, needs to be like way more further out, whereas here it looks like it's really, really sharp right at the edge. So small details. Again, I think I still agree with some of the things that they are saying here of making apps fun again. Yes, But in order to make your apps fun again, you need to understand what fun is and not just have one style added to all of your elements. Small rant on this one. Not a lot. Not a lot. But yeah, it's an interesting point. Um, that's the thing that I was talking about earlier. So basically, the way that Portal, the thing that Ever has created, work is it has your source section and your destination section, and they are in different planes of existence, at different z index and in different containers. And so, with that in mind, the transition makes a lot more sense and work really seamlessly based on the system. So, that creation is really good. And I do need to install Portal soon. I'm kind of waiting for Portal to be like an available thing and not just where we are right now. So, yeah, cool stuff nonetheless. These ones were cool for the same reason as last time. Don't need to rehash the same exact thing. We've had this thing, which was really impressive for what it is. Like, it's a bit of a shader situation, as always, and it just looks really good. And that's it. I don't know how complex it is. It doesn't seem to be that complex based on the amount of lines of code that is highlighted around here. But still, um, that's a very nice output. A very cool looking thing as a portal. As a portal wallpaper and whatever that is. Other than that, I feel like we don't have much creations. Um, This one was an interesting one, just mainly for me. I don't know if you are someone that has played with 3D in the past and or has created 3D games and so on. But what I'm seeing here is instead of rotating the tower and have the player be just navigating and making sure that it works, they have made the camera point focus at the tower and the player itself, and then just follow the player around rather than having the tower move, which I don't know if that makes any sense to me. I think it kind of makes sense for the sake of like the shadows and so on, because you need to understand that the player is moving through the the tower itself for that game. But I don't know. It feels counterproductive or counterintuitive from my brain to make the camera move around rather than the light move around. But yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting. Nonetheless. Nonetheless, just interesting. This one was a very interesting point for many reasons. The Sumia that is painting something that I've talked about a lot. With that point of a lot of UIs writing on the coat tail, which I don't know what that is, of good image. And so most of the UI that I've been talking about and some of the website I've been showcasing here, where I'm saying this is a very simple layout, and if you remove the image, the layout kind of shit, it just works because the image is good. That's basically what they are saying, and it works in some specific situations. When you are building like a landing page, for example, you will have something that is related to um, like yourself and your client, and therefore you're kind of good. You can have whatever image you want because you want the images that will work the best. For something like this, however, which looks like a user profile with galleries of images that is going to be user generated, that whole thing is going to be a lot more complex to ensure that the user are going to have good overall images to share and therefore will have such a good interface for themselves. So that's again, that's the thing that I've tried to remedy here by making sure that when you are creating like a new perfume in your collection, I'm giving you the tools to output something that is going to be good. If you make a mistake or if you fuck it up, that's on you. But I'm doing my best to give you all the tools to make sure that the output is going to be something that, just works, just look good. And it might be pixelated, it might be not pixelated, it really depends on where the image is coming from, but at least the output that we have for most of the perfumes is going to be good. So, like playing with these all have been really important to make sure that, like, again, the output that the user is going to have is as clean as possible. So, yeah, just mentioning that small detail. um, we've had other really cool thing, but not, you know, not much. This one is pretty cool. It's the same thing as underneath. It's made with Shader Plus, which is something that we are promoting on Discord as well. So, yeah. Um, there's been this thing that was really interesting for the visualization point of view, but I don't really understand why it has to be like this. This is a 3D, 2D rendering of bird sounds. And it's impressive. It looks really cool. The rendering and the visualization is really nice, but other than that, that's about it. If you want to listen to it at the same time as the video, here is the link so that you can just check it out because it's pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It just looks cool. That's all we have so far. Um, all we have. Yeah. And then that's about it. I think we haven't had a lot more or a lot of really interesting things coming in. I'm gonna check that as always. Got the same. There's something kind of weird with the product hunt launch and specifically the comments and the replies where some of them don't seems to have like a lot of things linked to them, but also like the one that I replied to earlier at the beginning of the stream were marked as 7 hours ago. And that makes absolutely no sense because I've been on this page since this morning. And yeah, it's just uh it's just wild. It's just wild. So yeah, we don't I don't know. I don't know how that works. I don't know how it will work in the long run. But it's interesting. It's interesting. Other than that, I don't think I have anything on this one that is good enough. Let me check. Um, yeah, no. Eh. I have one thing that is on my phone. I just need the name because it's pretty cool. What's the name of you? If you are someone that is interested in TTS, text to speech and other thing, um, and you're not scared of the French, I know. Um, this happened to exist, and this is an AI research lab based in Paris, which is debatable. And they have a text to speech situation thing where you can 100% have this thing run on your machine. It is pretty good. It has a really good output in like regular French and like English for sure. Not a lot of other like languages for sure. But it's interesting. It's free, which I'm impressed by, and they have other things, other um, products, research elements, apps, things that they have been building that is interesting. So maybe check it out. Maybe check it out. Um, what else do I have? This thing is unrelated. That is unrelated. Uh, it's not necessarily something that you are interested in. Just cool to know. But yeah, the last news, even though it's not really a big news, but it's one of the last news that we have for today. Um, I have finally made the decision of moving out of Spotify, and I'm now on Apple Music. We'll see if that lasts. I have cancelled my Spotify thingy and went for the 3 months free uh, Apple subscription that went with the AirPods, as always. So I might just go back to Spotify later. I don't know. But for now, we are testing out the Apple Music environment. I feel like it's weird that there is something that apparently I can't um, transfer the music that I'm listening on my phone to my computer. Or maybe I have forgotten to put something in place. But it is apparently recognizing my computer and my phones are as two different devices, as if it was two different people rather than the same person on the same iCloud account. So I don't really understand what's happening there. Um, and I lost something like 200, 300 songs that didn't exist on Apple Music. That happens. But that's a thing. That is a thing. Um, yeah. Other than that, I don't know why my heart is hurting right now. It feels like kind of weird. It's not the same pain as before. It's kind of weirdly placed in where it is compared to when I was in the emergency room. So that's kind of sad. But yeah, it's not expected. Not exactly the thing that you were expecting on a Monday. Specifically because it happened last It happened last week as well, but it happened this weekend. And it seems to be linked to the time I take this, which is kind of sad because it's supposed to be the opposite. So I don't know. I need to go check some things. That's going to piss me off. Again. But yeah, other than that, not much. We've had. Did I do that? That works? That doesn't work. God damn it. I should just do this. I should just have done that. That makes a lot more sense. That makes a lot more sense. Like this thing pins at the top of the chat. Um, yeah. As always, if you have any design questions so on, makes all sense. It is. I am professional. Extremely professional. um, Making sure that I don't die on stream, the usual, is a good thing. I mean, it's a good thing. It's a thing. If it's good, I don't know, but it's a thing. I think we don't have a lot more stuff. I'm working on something in the code. Can you believe that? working on something in the code myself, which is currently doing the folders. I don't like it. I'm telling you right now, I do not like it. Specifically, what I don't like is this icon right here. That makes no sense so far, and it's supposed to show you like the folders that you have access to and so on. And in order to get your folders, you just long press on one of your entries, and that apparently right now is reloading, so that's going to take a while. um you long press on an entry, and then you organize that into one of the folder that you already have created, and so on. Like, that's the easiest thing to do. It's kind of working, but it's not necessarily working. I just don't understand and don't know what I can have as an icon here that isn't a folder. Reason for that is the the thinking section. If I'm telling you folders, in the brain of a lot of people which are not tech oriented, a folder is something that will contain one entity of one specific element, and that specific element cannot really be in multiple folders at once, because you organize your files and things on your computers in folders, and when you have like an image in one folder, it's not in another folder as well. It can be with an alias, but it's not necessarily the case. So most people, when you see and you talk about folders, they think about that one thing in one folder and that's it, and can't be anywhere else. Whereas here, you could have multiple elements in multiple folders and be good with it. So I'm trying to figure out what would make sense. And so I so far has I went with groups, but it's kind of the same thing. I thought about calling that sets or trays or cabinets or shelves, because it's the same ID, but it's just not making any fucking sense. And then collection, which is the main word that I'm using right now, is currently in my head. That might be wrong. It is associated with my collection. I have one collection, and I wouldn't create like a sub collection. And a sorting hat or category could be an option, like create a new category and categorize and so on. The wording that I've used on this is organize for now. That's the title. And I'm using a tag icon, which is not necessarily good. But for the same reason, the tag icon doesn't make any sense. The folder icon would work, but it doesn't really work. The stack is an option, but it's not really good. And I've been spending all day yesterday in figuring out what would make the most sense, specifically here, to get like categories, um, and make that make sense. But it's just nothing makes sense to me. So so far, I ended up with that icon, the background blur icon thing that is pretty neat, but that's not necessarily good. And the rectangle um, stack is okay, but it's not good. The reason why I didn't go with the grid, which is, one of the other options, is because the grid is already something that we are using in the presentation right here. So if you have the grid right there and right there, that will make absolutely no sense. So, that it's a bit of an annoyance. I don't really know. If you have an ID, please let me know. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like collection or category makes sense in the wording type of thing, right? Create a category or organize your content makes sense, but there is something in the iconography that needs to go with it that just doesn't make any sense. So yeah. Anyways, well, you're trying to do the search screen, Sturdy. Search screen on Android, I guess. That's probably the case. Yeah. Um, this one, the new one, the search screen is like this. So you have pre-selectable categories and the search field, but you could go faster potentially to just find something in 2 clicks if it's one of the popular one, which might be interesting. I don't know. I feel like the thing that we have right now, or at least the thing that we had in the design and in the um, initial version, is interesting and works, but or works better. Like that makes sense to me. Um, yeah, no, I agree. I guess I did that, which is not necessarily a good idea, but yeah, it works. It works. Um, hmm. What are you trying to do right now? What do you mean? It's an image. You get the image and you're done. Nothing specific about it. Like it's just a big ass image. I mean, if you want to make it in code, you can. You can create a noise SVG, as far as I remember. Um, like that might just give you exactly what you're looking for, rather than working on something else. The only issue that I have with these things most of the time is uh, the pattern is repeating and repeating too much. Like I see when the thing is kind of duplicated at times. I see some of the patterns. You can kind of see these dots that are in the diagonal player repeating, same thing vertically and so on. So I don't know, but nonetheless, if you just want to do that with that, use it instead. I'm fine with it. The only thing that I would say is that SVG filters are really cool and, you know, will 100% just work, but you just need to know how to generate them. I would say most of the situation might be an option as well to just not have the dust and the stars and the things, but also, eh, you know. It looks neat. This article might be interesting as well. Oh, science. CSS trick is always a good reference, at least for me. Ah, learning stuff. Sorry. uh, it works everywhere. That's pretty impressive, to be honest. Yeah. Mm-hmm. This one is really, really. This one is more interesting. Huh. I like that. I like that. It's more of a... it is a fractal fractal noise. God damn. It's a fractal noise creation. Hmm. You know what? You should go there as well. This is a pretty good one. I feel like there is a lot of things in there that will be highly appreciated. Specifically if it's just like SVG filters and so on. There's probably a ton of things that you can reuse. Yeah. That's a fair point. Yeah. Damn. Yeah, they are using a very interesting patterns. I mean, they are really not using the pattern that we currently have in Figma, for example. So that's an interesting point. But it's good to know. Wrong thing. um, yeah. Fractal noise could be an option as well. Again, I don't think that using like a library or third-party libraries for that specific use case makes a lot of sense, right? It's just yeah, that's gonna be for noise, but like noise filter. I doubt. Yeah, that's one of them. but I don't know much about it. Um, so I wouldn't be able to recommend anything. I wouldn't. Also, hi. Right. That. uh. There's a bit of a repeating situation here where things are repeating in the wrong way. Um, but it's interesting. I might be right when I'm gonna say that, but I feel like the calculation of the noise, which is probably gonna happen every time you load the search page, unless you like save it as an image, which therefore at the end of the day makes no sense because you could just start with the image and be done with it, might be a bad idea. So you tell me, but I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of movements in that noise, which is pretty impressive. It has like really strident lines, horizontal, diagonal-ish lines that are really visible. So that's the thing. I don't know. That's a weird representation, but I know you all halfway there. Anyways, I need to pee 1 second. Anyway, anyways, that's better. That is better. However, I fear. I fear. Um, what do I fear? Good question. I fear that you're placing this as an overlay for everything rather than an overlay for just the background, which would affect the posters and the content once you have everything, which is not the case. Um, so I don't know. I don't know. Uh, I will. Don't worry about it. Um, I see. So something. That that's pretty bad. I see. Yeah, that's an option as well. It's a bit of a more complex thing because of how it's supposed to look. But I get it. It's an option. Um, it's not going to be the exact same, which is like one of the important parts, and that is because of the radial thing. Um, but that secondary color is going to be the proper color that we have. So based on that, it's a bit of a annoying part, but it could work. Hmm. It's basically the same secondary alpha value, so that's an interesting thing. This could work as an option, potentially. It's just the radial version, the radial gradient that takes that secondary thing, right here, is roughly needing to be here, but that's not gonna be good. That's one way to do it, to be honest. Because you would have the image and the radial gradient in a way that just, can be exported as a square, and that whole image as just a PNG that you load could be good enough. I don't know. I don't know. Um, I do understand that you want to get like the web and mobile being the same. That makes sense. In my eyes, I would use the image to simplify everything because it's just like one single asset that is loaded once and you can reuse it for the web, reuse it for the mobile, reuse it for wherever you want. Um, that's an option. The other thing that you could potentially do is get this to be generated per device, but that's like not the best. I mean, again, going back to what I was saying, and I don't know exactly how you are generating the grain in the first place on the web and in the Android version, but I feel like generating the grain every time might be um, kind of more complex unless you have something in there that just save it. You could, like, it could happen, but yeah. It works. It's a good start. Yeah, but it's grain. That's the thing. Grain is such a simple thing in Figma that I understand, you know. Um, yeah, which means you could have variation in size, you could have variation in brightness, and so on. Yeah, this one is kind of similar. The way that the noise is selected and created inside of Figma directly is um, basically the same amount. Like it's creating this weird organic shape for the pixels, which again doesn't exist. We talked about that before, but like the half pixel doesn't exist, so the rendering is something that is more of a blow compared to what was expected. And like the place where it's going to be pretty good, probably 0.5, to have something that is mostly aligned with where the pixel is going to be. But it's interesting. It's really interesting. Nonetheless, I agree. This is something that is like such an easy build inside of Figma if you're using the native element or if you're using the noise plugin. It just does it, so you don't have to do anything. Um, but yeah, at least you have something, which is good. Which is good. Going back to where I was, or what I was about to say earlier, and I didn't. This might, and I don't know if you have that already, but this might be a better option to just reuse the same input and put it here, but I forgot why we didn't. I feel like there was a reason, and I don't know what the reason why was. So, you know, not gonna say shit, but uh, yeah, I feel like there was a reason. Yeah, I know. I am not surprised by that. Like just doing this as a floaty element is a good enough thing and would make a lot more sense because that way you still have access to your, is it movies and TV shows or is it like music switch? So, you know, that makes sense to me. Or at least it makes more sense to me. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Very interesting situation here. That's not supposed to be so much different. Eh, I don't know. But yeah, it makes more sense. Makes more sense to reuse the same input. I forgot why we said that needs to be a different thing. I think the reason why I said that in the first place was because on a very specific version of iOS, which doesn't exist anymore, we had an option to have the inputs to be basically exactly there automatically in the search. It's the exact same thing as the native keyboard for your chat message app and so on. So if you reused the keyboard for chats, you would have the ability to just get that thing. I think, and it has one of these keyboard displayed, and like it might be in the bookmarks, and it's not in the bookmarks, but I know where it is. Um, I know he has one of the right there. So in the keyboards that we now have on iOS 26, there is no more input at the top, which is kind of sad. But we used to. And so that's the thing that I had in mind. And I'm guessing this is the reason why, like, I know. I think this is the reason why I said, let's do that instead. But yeah. I learned something 2 days ago, by the way, which I don't think is in here. But I learned something pretty interesting about the spaces, and which is breaking some of my issues or breaking some of my layouts. Basically, a spacer right now has a minimum size of a certain amount every time. And if you don't specify that that spacer is going to have a minimum size of 0, it's never going to collapse properly. And so you will end up with ellipsis for your text when it's not necessary. So by making sure that you have a min size of 0, you end up with an alignment and a text line that is going to be much better. So that's an interesting thing, but it's not in there. Anyways, it's not there anymore for the keyboard that I'm talking about. But yeah. Is it gonna be? But no. I was about to say, is it gonna be in the iMessage or is it gonna be in the message? There is no iMessage nor message in this whole thing. So that no good. No good. I feel like in the example we usually have a message app somewhere around here, but I fear. Yeah, that's the one that I had in mind, basically the regular keyboard thing where you can just type and you have the input above it, but it's just like doesn't exist anymore. It's not a native thing. It's probably a native thing on Android, to be honest. Probably is. Probably is. Why? Um. Hmm. 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 Yep. That was it. Do they have one of them? No, they have a theme builder, but that's not the thing in question. That's a lot of changelog. God damn. God damn. Do we have exactly what I was looking for? Cool. Yeah, they don't have it anymore as well. That's pretty interesting for me. That's a good thing to know. Nonetheless, like as always, I'm placing myself as an authority in the design industry because I've been on it for a long time, but there is a lot of things that have changed since I last really used like a UI kit from the basics. So learning new stuff is always a good thing. There are a lot of things that needs to be re-updated in my brain for sure to make sure that, I can make sense of everything, but they, yeah. Hmm. That's interesting. But yeah, we have everything. I mean, we have most of the things, which is pretty good. And that would make a lot of sense. That's nice. I'm scared of this, but I know you're not on that yet, so it doesn't really matter. You forgot one thing. Basically, your navigation background has or isn't using the same color as your theme. You're currently in the purple background black situation, and you can see that with the difference in between how red it looks compared to the background with the stars that are way more blue slash gray than the background of the navigation. So that specific element is probably using like a different color scheme base. It probably needs to be checked. Small detail, you know? Small details. The other thing that I've noticed, but that's a me thing. That corner needs to be a bit further down. I feel like you probably, and that makes sense, you probably have all of your posters as one singular thing, and then you have like a rotation, and they don't have enough um, top padding, I guess. Um, if you ask Copilot to do that, uh, I know, specifically for visual stuff, like the thing that I've seen for Copilot and other places is that if you know exactly what you want, design related, and you ask it is exactly what you need, design related, it's gonna fuck it up. So you kind of need to know what needs to happen. So you're in luck because I did that. In order to achieve exactly this alignment for the Android version of the app and have the rotation for each, I basically have the array with a switch case for the rotation, a switch case for the top padding per index. So that's the thing that I have and remember having, which is like it's a fucking switch case. You should be able to do that, you know. I trust you. I believe in you. It is that simple, and it's just a matter of centering or making sure that the one that is in the center, and then anything that is um, index whatever is going to be properly aligned. It's the same thing that I have right about... Where you at? There? No. I'm guessing it's in the profile view, that's for sure, but like, where the fuck is it defined? There. You basically have one of these, which is not random. So your array of value is going to be the length of your circle, and the wider your element is going to be, the bigger your range needs to be. So that element itself is going to need to be based on yours. For Android, it's going to have some sort of a viable range, which is annoying, but it's just minus whatever. You should be fine. You should be fine. Let me see. The components. Uh, Kinda. I love how broken it is on Android, because it looks so much broken when it is in the preview, but then when you go inside of the app itself, it's kind of fine. Um, but yeah, the best option for you is going to be place on path. As far as I remember, this is an option that you have to have elements following a very specific path. So you can just create a circle and then just place the element on top and be good with it, with a specific amount of array and rotation for each. But like, based on the fact that they are rectangular elements, they have a direction from their top middle point to the bottom middle point that can be traced to be directed toward the center of the circle, which will give you the exact proper orientation every time. And you can have that, as far as I remember, way faster. But yeah, see, that's an option. But yeah, where the fuck is this rotation angle? There. Like, that's the type of thing that I had for the top, like the top offset. And you kind of need the same thing in order to end up with something that follows the arc properly. And yeah. Yeah, that seems okay. It might be 1 pixel too high still. Yeah, it is, but it's fine. Specifically, these ones, like the other edge, are going to be a bit too high still based on where it is. But it doesn't matter. You don't care about it. I don't care about it. I do. I don't care about it. It's gonna be fine. It's going to be fine. Um, did I put that in the components or did I put that on the... I did. It's basically this, like what I've done to achieve this, which is, again, should not be the case, but each of these are entire, like, circle based on that amount of length to create exactly the curve that we needed and make sure that every of them are exactly placed on the curve itself. And you should be able to do that way more easily than what I had to do in Figma. And basically the other thing is, for you, instead of having the bottom section on the mobile, you have the top version, the top section of this thing, and it's, you know, it's the same fucking concept. So overall, everything should be fine. But it's just these. If you have a full circle, I'm giving you ideas of things that makes no sense that you can put in place. If you have a full circle, you could 100% have something that would, you know, be scrollable so that the user would be able to just swipe through for no fucking reason. And then when they tap on it, it send them to the movie in question. That would be so good. Just a small pastime situation where you can just fluff, 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 fluff. Fluff, 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 fluff is a very good representation of what it is and how things work. How did you do this thing? Yeah, no, that makes sense. It's basically the same situation. So that calculation of the rotation for index is probably what I have already done. So on my own. So yeah, it should work. It should work. But you know, if you want to, it's not necessary. It's a fun thing. It's a fun addition. Goddamn. That makes sense. That makes sense. But you know, overall, it's fine. Overall, it's fine. It's gonna work. It's gonna work. I feel like the native app, if you're doing it properly, which is the case, because I trust you, you might need to, or you might end up with something that is more performance than your desktop web version in some use cases, not most, like very limited use cases. And I fear that like some of the power users would expect then like the desktop to be more more efficient. And my fear is you, as always. I fear that you will want to make sure that the desktop is at the same level as the native. And by doing so, you will end up being very, very good on the desktop as well. And it will be better than the apps. And then you will try to make the apps better. And it will be better than the desktop. And you will probably have a bit of a cycle at some point of making that one that was better than this one needs to catch up, but it's above. And then this one needs to catch up, but it's above. And you will, I fear, I know you enough by now to fear that and to feel like it's going to probably happen. So, yeah, I don't know. It is as long as here you release something, as long as here you have users, and then you can do the perfect cycle. I'm fine with it. But as long as right there you have something in the stores, you have something in the users' hands, other than you as the users, good. Before that, don't do the thing. As I just showcased as well, like the preview map is released and in the user's hands right now. I think I had 20 something users. I have someone that paid, as I said. I saw that in the analytics already. That's crazy. Um, all of that is, you know, it's good because now I can just improve the app and be done with it. No need for more. No need for more things to add and so on. So yeah, that's one of the thing. That is one of the things that needs to happen for you. Um, what this should, at least should happen, was as much as possible because, goddamn, why? uh, I don't know what I can do for that. That's the thing. I don't have a single idea of what that could be. That's the issue that I have, the pain that I have right here. Um, because the previous one made sense. It was high blood pressure, and there was something inside that was like flapping too hard. But now with the medication, I may have low blood pressure and it's flapping too slow. I don't fucking know. Uh, God damn, I did figure it out though. It's uh, it's a necessity. Otherwise, I might be dead. That's always good, you know. Always neat. Mm. Anyways, uh, so yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know. Let me check something though, real quick. Real quick. I doubt, but eh, that happens. It happens. Um, that I'm gonna say that. Google Map is trash lately. I don't understand how businesses that are supposed to be like listed on are just not. Um, yeah, I'm looking for the closing time of the pharmacy that is close by so that I can just go check with them before I die on stream, the usual. So yeah, I need to send you to someone who is currently live that we can go to at that instance that I can go out before they close is gonna be the question. That is a crazy amount of no people. Um, Jonathan, hi, what got in? I am looking for someone to raid, which is crazy. But yeah, how are you? How's it? How's everything? How's the day going? Oh, God, it hurts. How have you been? You haven't been here since I kind of changed. Yeah, I was looking at the gaming as well. Since I kind of changed the timeline thing. Um, Athendita, hi, what got in? You also joined. And we're going out. Um, it was really rainy today, which was pretty appreciated for me. Um, I was about to say Mad Chirpy, someone else that we haven't seen before, but it's fine. Bitgamey is an option. I'm stalling for time. I do, but right now I need to go to the pharmacy, so I can't, you know. um, the drop is apparently broken. Impressive. Impressive. Yep. Wasn't supposed to happen, but it still happened. Um, Try that again. Welcome back, Busy. Yeah, I do end up way too early. I agree with that. But then again, you know, things needs to happen. So the fact that I need rest is the issue. Is the issue. Congrats on landing. See? Yeah, no, I need a I need to send you somewhere. Nonetheless, that's like I need to go before it close. So, yep. Let me beat game you so that you have something to check. They are looking for assets apparently, which is pretty impressive. Um, yeah, no, you can't. Not for the time that it will take. Not for that, and I think I'm gonna need to rest after that, which is kind of sad. But yeah, nonetheless, I'm sending you there, which is the recommended channel. Anyways, it's been like 3 hours, which is pretty impressive already for what I can do right now. If you want to watch the VOD for some reason, it's going to be here on YouTube if that works. Um, it's not. Maybe I can come back after when I come back. I don't know. I doubt it. If you want to ask questions when I'm not live, the Discord is pretty appreciated as always. And right now, everything is kind of broken when it comes to Twitch, apparently. So I need to do that by hands. But yeah, I know it's shorter. I wish I could find a way to not do that and not have the heart issues that I have, but I still do. So need to fix these before I can, you know, do anything about it. But yeah, as always, thank you for being here. Um, I wish that button doesn't work, but it's fine. I'll see you on Wednesday, unless I'm dead on the way to the pharmacy, which is an option. But yeah, Stony, you won. What a coincidence. Anyways, take care of yourself, eat something, drink something, and be kind to each other, and I'll see you soon. Bye.